what do you kind of see as far as trends go for the top programming languages that employers are looking for graduates to have?
So right now, the biggest language out there probably that you should know is JavaScript. It will help you learn things like Angular or React or any of the big front end frameworks. As far as back end, I want to say Node, but really and truly, it depends on the city that you're in.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to interrupt your video real quick. Do me a favor and hit the subscribe button below. And feel free to share it with a friend. I hope you guys enjoy this clip, and I'll let you get back to it.
So in Houston, where I am, .NET is really important. .NET and probably Angular. So .NET, because a lot of Fortune 500 companies, they want to work with languages or work with languages that are backed by a company. .NET is backed by Microsoft. If there's ever a problem with anything in their code, they can call on the Microsoft engineers and they will come in and they will fix it, right? So they don't want to deal with a lot of open source stuff. Node is open source. They don't want to deal with a lot of open source stuff where there is no company to back their product, right? Their open source means a lot of different developers are kind of working on creating this and, managing it themselves. So it's open for anyone to kind of like contribute to, which is awesome. But there is no one company that owns it. In Houston, there's a lot of big oil and gas companies, Exxon, Shell, these huge companies, and they want to deal with another huge company when it comes to their applications, right? So they tend to stick with Microsoft. So .NET, we type of .NET server like MVC, Core, Forms, they deal with that. And then on the front end, they deal with Angular. Angular, again, is backed by a big company. It's owned by Google. And Angular has there's a lot more strictness, which huge Fortune 5 companies like, React. I always say that both React and Angular are front end applications, front end libraries. And so React is more kind of a hippie language. That's what I call it, because it allows you to do anything you want, but you can hang yourself with that. So you have to be very disciplined into making your rules for React and then sticking to them. Whereas Angular, Angular is very, very strict about how you set things up. So that means that no matter who the developer is, they're going to be setting things up the exact same way, right? So it's going to be so it's very strict as far as rules. And big companies love that. They love that control, right? So big, huge companies tend to, especially in Houston, work with Angular and .NET. So if you go to so you asked me which is the most popular language. It depends on the city. Atlanta is a Java city. I don't know why, but they're big on Java. If these big tech companies, they're going to use something that is more kind of cutting edge, more kind of like techie, more maybe even open source. Big companies like Netflix, they use Node. Node is open source, but they have amazing developers there who, if there's a problem, their own developers can figure out what's wrong. They hire the best, right? So you'd find either startups or mid-sized companies using like more open source stuff like Node, but big, huge corporations are going to use the tried and true stuff from other big corporations like .NET and Angular. So it really depends on your city. We live in Houston. We live in a city with a lot of old companies. They're going to use the tried and true. If you go to other companies, like other cities like San Francisco, they're going to be using like more like edgy kind of stuff.